Let's be honest, most of us have looked up at the night sky at some point and wondered if we're truly alone. Scientists debate it, governments dodge it, and yet, year after year, ordinary people keep capturing things on camera that nobody can fully explain. Today I'm walking you through some of the most compelling UFO sightings and strange phenomena caught on film recently. I'm not here to push a theory or pretend I have answers. I'll give you the footage, give you the context, and let your own judgment take it from there. Because the most honest thing anyone can say about this topic is simple. We don't know. And that last clip? Out of everything in today's video, that one genuinely gave me pause. Stick around for it. If you enjoy content like this, hit like and subscribe. It keeps the channel going, and I'd love to have you
It's been
here.
following us, man, while
All right,
we've been fishing.
let's get into
There
it.
it is, right there, right there,
Clip
right there.
1,
It's crazy.
the hovering orb at Whiskeytown Lake,
It's just like hovering,
California.
not even moving.
We're opening with something
Every
very
now and then
recent,
it moves,
and
like
it's the
when we
kind of
get close
footage
to
that's
it,
hard to brush
like
off.
it's gonna leave, but I think
On
it's like
April
checking us
24th,
out.
a father and son were out on the water at
Kinda scared
Whiskeytown
me.
Lake in
It's kinda
Northern
scaring you?
California.
Stuff that
Completely
big
normal
again.
day, nothing unusual,
There it
until
is,
one of
she's
them looked up.
hovering, dude.
Floating above
What
them
a
was a
trip.
perfectly spherical
I never
metallic
thought they were
object.
real.
No wings, no propeller, no visible means of propulsion. It wasn't drifting, it wasn't moving at all. It was just hovering in place, motionless directly above their boat, as if it had chosen that exact spot on purpose. What makes this clip stand out isn't just the object, it's the reaction. The dad is caught somewhere between laughing it off and being genuinely unsettled, raw, unscripted, and completely believable. There's no dramatic buildup, just a guy on a lake staring up at something he cannot explain. Metallic orbs aren't new to this conversation. The U.S. Department of Defense has acknowledged encounters with exactly this type of object in declassified military footage. So when one shows up above a California lake on a clear afternoon, it deserves more than a quick dismissal. Drone? Possible, but the behavior doesn't match anything currently on the market. Weather balloon? At that level of stillness and altitude, unlikely. Something else entirely? That's the question worth sitting with. Clip 2, disc-shaped craft on clear footage. If the first clip got your attention, this one is going to hold it. This sighting involves two separate objects caught on the same footage, and the image quality is sharp enough to make out real detail. The witness spotted them from a distance, first 2 points of light moving strangely, and instead of filming from far away and getting a useless blurry clip, he moved closer before recording. Smart move. What the footage shows are two disc-shaped craft with clearly visible lights along their edges. But it's not the shape that stands out most, it's the movement. These objects make sudden, sharp directional changes with zero transition. No arc, no deceleration, no banking turn. One moment, heading one way. The next, they're not, as if the laws of momentum simply don't apply to them. This matches one of the most consistently reported characteristics of
someone
UFOs,
was on a beach
incredible pilot
and saw a
military
strange trail of
testimonies.
cloud.
Instant
While
acceleration
recording,
and direction
this footage was
changes that
captured,
would be
which
physically
looks
devastating for any
Out of
human
nowhere,
pilot.
we see the
Whether this
center
footage
part
is
of that
genuine
trail
or not,
start
what it
growing
depicts
what looks
lines
like
up precisely
tentacles
with what
and
trained
moving in a
observers have
strange
been
way,
reporting for decades.
as if it's alive or something.
Clip 3. The
Yet we
contrail that
cannot
came
be certain
alive,
if this
California
really happened,
coast.
or
This
if
one
it's
is different
AI
from a typical UFO sighting.
I couldn't find
and
anything
honestly,
about this with my
it
own
might be the
eyes,
most
because it
visually
also looks
unsettling
quite
clip
real.
in today's video.
So be sure to
Someone on a
analyze
California
before
beach
making your
noticed a
final
contrail in the sky and
And
started
before we get
casually
into what
filming
might be the
it,
most
completely
bizarre
normal at
clip
first.
in this entire
Then
video,
the center section
a
of
quick
that
thing
trail
you should
began
know.
to change,
when you're
not
going
dissolve
down
the way
these rabbit
contrails
holes
do,
online,
but actually
not
transform.
everything out
Long
there is
extensions
safe.
grew outward,
That's actually
curling
why I
and
started
shifting
using
in ways that had no meteorological explanation. The best description I can give is that the contrail grew tentacles, and those tentacles moved with a fluid, almost organic quality. I want to be upfront. I couldn't independently verify this footage. No corroborating reports, no news coverage from that location. That could mean it's isolated, fabricated, or simply unreported. AI analysis didn't flag obvious manipulation, but also couldn't confirm it's real. What I'll say is this: watch the way those extensions move, and then tell me in the comments what you think is actually happening there. Clip 4, the pyramid on the Scottish hillside.
And I didn't know this
Set aside
existed.
everything you think you know about Scotland
Look
for a
at
moment,
the
because this
size
one
of
genuinely
that.
surprised me. A man who regularly hiked the Scottish Highlands, someone familiar with the terrain, someone who had walked those hills many times, spotted something on a distant mountaintop during a routine outing. A structure, large, unmistakably geometric, shaped like a pyramid, rising clearly against the skyline. Not a cairn, not a small rock pile. A full pyramid shape, defined and symmetrical, large enough to be visible from a significant distance. The man was local. He knew the area. He had never seen it before. When he shared the footage online, reactions split immediately. Some argued natural rock formation unusual but geologically possible. Others pointed out the symmetry was far too precise for random erosion. A smaller group suggested something less conventional entirely. Here's what I find most interesting. You don't need to believe in anything extraordinary to be genuinely puzzled by this. Even with the most mundane explanation, the question of what that structure is and why a local had never noticed it doesn't disappear. Clip 5 UFO releasing energy into the ground, Brazil. This clip from Brazil is one I've returned to multiple times, and each viewing I notice something new. An unidentified object in the sky isn't just hovering or moving. Strangely, it's actively interacting with the ground below. Streams of bright, shimmering light fired downward from the object, sustained and deliberate, like liquid electricity hitting the earth. Then, without warning, the object vanishes, not flying away, not fading, just gone. What remains in the frame for a brief moment looks like the air itself collapsing inward, like a doorway closing. There's a documented pattern of UFOs appearing near high-voltage infrastructure, power lines, and lightning storms. Whether these objects are drawing energy, releasing it, or doing something we have no framework for, nobody has a solid answer. AI analysis flagged this footage as unprocessed and unmanipulated. That's not confirmation it's real, just that it didn't fail basic authenticity checks. But if genuine, what we're watching raises serious questions about what these objects are actually doing here. Clip 6, the shape-shifting object over Mexico. Just this past March, on an overcast afternoon in Mexico, someone captured something moving across the sky that has been confusing people ever since. The object doesn't hold a consistent shape. When it first appears, it has a defined silhouette, elongated with a recognizable front end. But as it moves, the form flows and shifts in real time. Not spinning, not rotating in a way that creates an optical illusion. The shape itself is changing, bulging, narrowing, rearranging like something soft or liquid, suspended in midair. This type of sighting has appeared in multiple countries over multiple years, shape-shifting aerial objects that look organic rather than mechanical. They show up, confuse everyone, and vanish before anyone gets a definitive answer. No known aircraft, no drone, no weather phenomenon behaves this way. Whatever category this belongs to, we haven't named it yet. Clip 7, the ancient-looking craft, 2012. We're closing with something that, the more I think about it, the more it stays with me. In 2012, a group of people driving through a remote area spotted something hanging in the sky above the road. They pulled over. Someone grabbed a camera. What they captured was a disc-shaped object, but look closer, because this one is different. The surface doesn't look modern. It doesn't look like something manufactured recently. The texture is rough, detailed, almost weathered, covered in what appear to be markings or structural features that look less like engineering and more like something much older. The word that kept coming to mind watching it was artifact, like an object that had been around for a very long time. The footage is shaky, but there are frames clear enough to make this more than just a blurry light in the sky. And it raises a question I think is worth considering. What if some of these objects aren't new? What if they've existed alongside us for centuries or longer, and we're only now beginning to document them properly? That idea sits differently than the standard visiting spacecraft narrative, and I think it deserves more serious thought than it usually gets. 7 clips, 0 definitive answers, which honestly feels about right for this subject. If any of these sightings stood out to you, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and some of my best follow-up videos have come directly from things viewers noticed that I initially missed. If you're new here, welcome, hit subscribe, and come join the rabbit hole. There's a lot more where this came from, and we're just getting started. See you in the next one.